Hi folks, welcome to video number 62. This one is on simplifying algebraic fractions, and the keywords are algebraic and cancel. The word algebraic refers to anything in the world of maths that's got letters in it. So there would be algebraic terms, and the word cancel just means to divide one thing by another. To simplify algebraic fractions, you need to know what cancels what, the letters and the numbers, etc. You'll need to know how to divide numbers. You'll need to know how to divide terms using the rules of indices, and you can watch a video on that if you need to. And you'll need to be able to factorize linear and quadratic expressions, including the difference of two squares, and even including the harder factorizing of quadratic expressions, which actually is a grade higher than this one, technically. So simplifying the following in question number 1, I'm going to write it out nice and big. So we're going to get 8x squared y all over 4x y squared. Now what we can do is cancel by a factor of 4, because both of these numbers, just ignore the letters for a minute, the numbers both divide by 4. So if we cancel, that just cross them off, right? 8 divides by 4 to give you 2, and 4 divides by 4 to give you 1, right? Then what I'm going to do, because all of these things are stuck together, they mean multiply by. I'm going to put a little multiplication symbol in, and at the top and the bottom, and I'm going to then cancel the x squared and the x. So if you divide x squared or you take a factor of x out, it means you can cancel both of those things. X divided by x would give you 1, x squared divided by x would give you just 1x left. Okay, then I'm going to multiply that by and multiply that by, and it's the exact same thing but the opposite way round this time. Cancel the y divides by y to give you just 1, and y squared would give you, if you divide it by y, would give you y. So what we've got is 2 times x times 1, and that would just give you 2x on the top, and then 1 times y, which would just give you y on the bottom. Alright, so that's how you can do that. Deal with the numbers, deal with the letters, and then cancel. And this is quite a nice way of writing it, I think. Write it out nice and big, a little bit of scrap paper, and do your work in that way. You can do it in your head, obviously, if you're good enough. Now, the next one is relatively simple. 14x minus 28 all over 7. That just means this whole expression up here needs to be divided by 7. And now, luckily for us, both of these numbers are divisible by 7. So if you do 14 divides by 7, it gives you 2. And if you do 28 divides by 7, it gives you 4. But we've got an x on this, so I need to put an x there, and then minus, and then a 4. And that's literally all we have to do for that one. Both of those terms do divide by the 7. It could, and I almost wrote 7 there, turn that into a 4. Seamless. So you could see this written as this, because both those terms are being divided by 7, so it could be written that way round. Okay, that might be a nice way of thinking of it. It might help. But relatively simple one. The first one was a little bit trickier, I think. Now, in question 2, what we've got is some quadratics, which are able to be factorized. This first one's quite nice because we can do it, and if you're not sure what I'm doing here, go and watch the Factorizing Quadratics video first. All right, that will give you a bit more of an insight. But we'll do this quite quickly. Right, we're going to think of the factors of 15 that add to make 8. So factors of 15 are 1 and 15, which don't add to make an 8, and then 3 and 5. 3 plus 5 does make 8. So x plus 3 and x plus 5 is the factorized version of this expression. Then we've got the factorized version of the expression on the bottom. 20 factors of 20 are 4 and 5 that add to make 9. So x plus 4 and x plus 5. Everything's all positive, so it was quite quick and easy to do. Right, now what we can see is this bracket will cancel this bracket. So you just cross them through, and it leaves us with x plus 3 over x plus 4. That's all we're getting. We're not getting any numerical answers, we're just simplifying our algebraic fractions. So this is just a simplified version of this, basically. Okay, now we do the same thing for b. It's a little bit trickier, because we've got a slightly harder quadratic here, and then definitely a harder quadratic here. This one's the grade above, because we've got the number in front of the x squared, rather than it just being 1x squared. So we can turn that into, in fact we should really use the identity symbol there, saying that it's exactly the same thing as. Right, we're going to get double brackets on this one, and I'm going to do my 8 the factors of 8 that would make -2 would be +2 and a -4. Okay, and then we get x plus 2 and x minus 4 for that one. Again, watch the video on that skill if you're not quite sure what it did, factorizing quadratics. But this one, I haven't shown anyone how to do just yet, necessarily, unless you've watched the video that's harder than this one, before this one, which you might have done. Basically, we have to multiply the 3 by the 2 to get 6, right? So the coefficient of x squared multiplied by the constant is what we say there. Then we think of the factors of 6 that add to make the middle term. So we're going to get, that add to make 7, sorry. So factors of 6 that add to make 7. I'm not sure if I said that. I might have done. So it's going to be 6 and 1, basically. So 6 x's plus 1 x's is what makes 7 x's. Those two would make that, right? Then we bring down the plus 2 and 3x squared. Okay, so we're going to section those bits off. What we do is we factorize that and that separately. So factorizing the 3x squared plus 6x, sorry, I should put plus there, gives us 3x that we can bring out on the outside of a bracket and then pop in, and this isn't actually part of our answer just yet, we pop in the x plus 2 because that would factorize to make that. That expression there is that as factor in its factorized form. Then we think of this number here, so that's positive 1x. We bring out plus 1 and then we factorize that, x plus 2, and what happens is we get the same bracket here, which is great. That's what we wanted. This 3x plus 1 is what the other bracket is, right? And you can see x plus 2 is one of our brackets and the other bracket is 3x plus 1, and what happens is we can cancel the x plus 2's. And then we get x minus 4 all over 3x plus 1. Alright, now I hope that makes sense. It might not make perfect sense, but please go and watch how to factorize one of these quadratics and you will get to understand that a lot better. It's the harder ones and it's grade 7. Right, having a look at the last question. This one's got a difference of 2 squares question in it. Maybe even a more complicated one as well than normal, but there we go. You still find this sort of question on foundation paper. The difference of 2 squares, factorizing anyway. So 9 can be made by doing 3 times 3. X squared can be made by doing x times x. And then the minus 1 is going to be made by doing plus 1 multiplied by minus 1. Okay, and that's how we factorize that nice and quickly. There's a video on how to do that again if you need to know in greater detail. This bottom one here we can do, I've got a bit more room this time so I can show you a little bit better. 3 times 4 gives you 12. Alright, let's think of this number 12 over here. The factors of 12 are 1 and 12 that would make minus 13 if you made them both negative. Now does that work to make a positive 12? Because the number on the end here is positive. 2 negatives do multiply to make positive, so that's great. So what we do is we split the minus 13 x's into minus 12 x's and minus 1 x's. Bring down the plus 4, bring down the 3x squared, section it off. 3 and 12, so the highest common factor there is 3, x squared and x. We can take out an x. X minus 4 is what will go in the bracket to make this expression here factorized, and this expression we take out whatever this is. If this is positive or negative, we take it out. So we take out a negative there, got a 1 that comes out, open up your bracket, x minus 4 is what that one would be, because negative 1 multiplied by negative 4 would make positive 4, and that might be a bit tricky and someone might make a mistake there like I nearly did. Right, so what we've got is a bracket on the bottom. We collect these two bits on the outside of the bracket, 3x minus 1, and the other bracket is x minus 4. And there should be, if you've done it correctly, something to cancel, because we are simplifying them after all. That one and that one cancel. So what we're ending up with is 3x plus 1 all over x minus 4. Okay, so the simplifying bit, the cancelling bit, actually it's really simple. Sometimes you might get it already in factorized form like that, and then you just look for the brackets that do cancel. But the real skill is being able to factorize all the quadratics, and especially the harder ones for the harder questions there. Alright, so I've gone through them. Please watch those other videos if you're not quite sure what I've done. and then come back and try this again, or try your questions that you need to try. Okay, because it's just a combination of skills, this particular topic. Right, hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching. Look after each other, like, subscribe, practice, most importantly, and just let me know how you're getting on. Thanks very much. Bye bye.